Mental health conversations all across the world are changing. Finally, we're living in a world where we're having thought-provoking and challenging conversations. With those conversations, we are ending misconceptions and also ending stigma. I believe now it is the time to tell a new story in society. It is opportune. Whenever we think of OCD, for most people, the first thing that comes into their mind is cleaning. Thanks to shows such as Obsessive Compulsive Cleaners, first aired in 2013 on Channel 4. Yet, a charity, OCD UK, shows that only 26.5% of people with OCD actually have cleaning compulsions. And let me explain to you what a compulsion is. A compulsion is the behavior or the act to alleviate the anxiety, which is from the intrusive thought or the obsession. Obsession, intrusive thought, anxiety, attempt to alleviate compulsion/behavior. Now, one of the biggest things for people to understand with OCD is, I'm going to try and take you through. I want you to imagine, close your eyes for a second, and imagine your very worst fear on a wheel going over and over and over and over. The only way for you to get rid of that thought is to perform a behavior. That behavior may be locking the doors. It could be making sure your family's safe. It could be checking social media repetitively. You are stuck with your worst fears on a hamster wheel running over and over and over again. There's memes on the internet that say, for example, when your intrusive thoughts have won, that doesn't actually put into perspective really and truly what intrusive thoughts are. Now, to give you some more alarming numbers, on average, only 89p is spent on research per person affected by OCD, yet it has devastating effects on the British economy. A cost of illness analysis was done by the University of Hertfordshire and Orchard OCD, a charity dedicated to finding alternative treatments for those suffering with OCD. At this current moment in time, OCD costs the NHS $378 million a year. And that's mainly through trying to treat it via cognitive behavioral therapy, otherwise known as CBT. But that number sharply rises to 5 billion when a societal perspective is considered. Caretakers, the individuals who have to look after people with OCD, but also those who are unable to work as a result of it. 1 to 2 million people worldwide in the UK live with OCD. So in a room full of 1,000 students, that would mean 10 to 20 students would have OCD, to give you the true number and perspective. A charity, OCD Action, also showed that there is a delayed onset between the symptoms of OCD and 12 years when individuals do not want to get the help that they actually most importantly need and desire. Why is that? Wouldn't you want to get the help that you most importantly need and should be able to get? Because of the taboo nature of OCD and the thoughts that people have, they lock themselves away. They fear that they may be a danger to society, to themselves, and to the people that they love around them. Undiagnosed OCD left me suicidal, hopeless, and depressed. On my recovery, which is an ongoing journey, I decided that I wanted to change what was going on in my world. I woke up from bed one day and I said to myself, I'm going to go and change the world. I went downstairs, opened up my laptop, opened up my Google Docs, and I wrote my story. When I wrote my story, I never imagined it could have gone nearly as far as where it is now. On August the 14th, I told my story for the first time, and several people reached out to me. I was able to build a community, but something had to change. In stigma, shame, so many people were suffering all alone. And I knew that I wasn't the only one, and now people can also realize they are not the only one. Yet, something else needs to change. If our only idea of obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, is about cleaning and symmetry, it does a disservice to those out there living with it at this current moment in time. There are wards on hospitals for people with severe obsessive compulsive disorder. It's not a joke as much as people think it is. It's not just about symmetry or putting your socks in the right drawer. It's a general issue with the brain, where a brain gets stuck on obsessive thought and keeps playing on repeat over and over and over again. And as I said, close your eyes again. Go to that very worst fear that you have, or whatever the thoughts that pop up into your head might be, and imagine it, the only way you can get rid of that actual thought is to perform that behavior. I strongly believe earlier intervention of OCD could potentially change many lives. We understand ADHD at this current moment in time. We understand depression and anxiety, which in some ways have become socially acceptable topics for us to speak about. If we can bake it into the national curriculum and the systems all around us of what really and truly OCD is, we can save lives and prevent people from suffering for the next couple of years. People have come up to me and they've been so grateful and so thankful for me speaking about my story. The taboo nature of the OCD thought is what stops people from speaking about it. We all have intrusive thoughts. For as long as you have a brain, your brain is going to produce intrusive thoughts. You may have walked randomly one day and you might have had a weird thought pop up into your head, but the thought will dissipate, it will leave. Your thoughts with someone with OCD, we believe it says something more about us than actually is intended. With earlier intervention, we can reach out to kids in schools, we can reach out to the parents and the caretakers and the individuals in society who are supposed to leave the world in a better place than they found it. With earlier intervention, we can quash the stereotypes and the misinformation surrounding obsessive-compulsive disorder. Many famous individuals have obsessive-compulsive disorder. Donald Trump, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jessica Alba, Justin Timberlake. These are some of the individuals out there with OCD. OCD was the worst thing to ever happen to me. On my journey, I have been determined to be the worst thing to ever happen to OCD. For those individuals now who will be watching this talk, and for some of you who may or may not know somebody with obsessive-compulsive disorder, you too can be the worst thing to ever happen to OCD, and you can take your life back. Obsessive-compulsive disorder / OCD does not dictate my life and does not dictate my future. So the next time you think to use the terms, I'm so OCD, or my intrusive thoughts are winning, I want you to think very carefully. OCD leaves people suicidal and has taken many lives. Thank you very much.